we're gonna replace the light, the rear light on my pickup truck. And what's gonna happen is I took off the one that was existing here. I didn't show how that was taken off because yours may be different, only because this was already an aftermarket one. The reason why I'm taking it off is because it's a hideaway hitch that I made for this a while back. And then I got my little fill spout for my air shocks. And what I want to do is this light that was here, it wasn't allowing the license plate to flip all the way up. So I'm going to cut these wires and install the new LED ones, which are really thin. So what you're going to need to do is, since I have two LED strips here, these are the daylight running light ones. I already soldered both of them together. So you just, if you have two, you solder them together. I figure most people are going to only put one in. So I also did that, and then I glued with hot glue the back of these right here where the two wires meet up, only so that way it doesn't pull out, like to keep it from breaking over a period of time. The reason why I didn't show this setup right here was each person's going to have their own LEDs that they're going to install, so it's going to be proprietary to me only, unless you buy these same exact ones. So you're going to need that. You're going to need some wire strippers. You're going to need a soldering iron, and then you're going to need some 3M tape or something to apply these to your metal surface. You're going to need some alcohol and something to wipe off the alcohol, only to clean your the spot where it's going to mount. Then you're also going to need some pieces of heat shrink. So these two smaller pieces will heat shrink this wire and this wire to the wires that I cut here. And then this larger heat shrink piece will combine both of these wires together and both of these wires together, so that way they don't pull apart in the future. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to install it and just let you see the process of that. And then also another incentive on this video is I'm going to install the serpentine belt on the truck, so that way you can see how that's installed too, since I got to replace the serpentine belt anyway. Okay, let's get it started. So the first thing you want to do before installing these to your two wires is find the polarity. Some LEDs don't require polarity, but these ones do. The way to actually check if it requires the positive and negative wire to be hooked up properly is put it on a 12-volt battery, and if they don't turn on, flip-flop them, and you'll notice that they turn on. If they turn on either way, that means that they don't require polarity, and if they don't require polarity, certain polarity, just solder them directly into your wire and it doesn't matter. But to check your polarity on these, if you notice, they come in a red and black wire, so more than likely that would tell you that they require this to be hooked up to positive and negative in the correct order. As you can see, the old bulb, it just had two black wires because basically your filament on your regular bulb will just heat up across and bridge the two wires together, creating a hot spot and creating this type of standard bulb to light up. That's not the case with the LEDs, so to check which one's the positive and which one's the negative, you could look back in the wire and see which ones you hooked up to begin with, or what you could do is just clip it and check it with the voltmeter. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clip it, check it with the voltmeter, and see which one's giving me 12 volts with the positive 12 volts. So if you notice, when you hook up, like say the positive side to your voltmeter and then the negative side to the other part of the voltmeter, and it has a negative number, that means that you have the two wires flipped. So if you hook them up and say this one you hooked up to the positive side of the voltmeter and this on the negative side, and you get a positive number on your readout, a positive 12 volts, that means that you know this side's the positive wire. So remember that. And I'll show you how that's done, and just skim through it real quick. Was I hooked it up to one of the wires currently. Okay, so what I did was I hooked it up, and if you look, I don't know if you can see that, but it says a positive 11 volt. So I'm going to take the large heat shrink and put it over the wire first, so that way it encases everything together. So we run that all the way down like that. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is put the smaller heat shrink on these other wires. So put it on and run it all the way up. Same thing for this one. Put it on and run it all the way up to the top. Keep that one bent and then install it. So do is just solder it. So to put on the serpentine belt, you need 16 to, let me see if I can do that, to put on that bolt right there, and cam it up this way, and then take off the old belt, and then you could install the new belt from there. So let's show you how that's done real quick. Yep. Alright, you go ahead and go. It's just on the wrench. So remember how this was taken off? So basically it goes over this AC pump right here, and then it goes over let's see, and then it goes, there's a tensioner right here, or idler, and basically it goes this way over the idler, and then there's the lower pulley down there, and it goes around that, and then it comes back up right here on this side, comes back there, and then the fan with the clutch, it goes around this way, so it goes up and over the clutch and fan, goes down, and then you have your power steering here, and it goes around there like that, and then your tensioner is right here, so it goes underneath the tensioner this way, so it goes under and then back up and then over this. So then that's how we're going to install it. So yours may be different depending on your vehicle, so always refer to this little decal right here, and it gives you the schematics of how it's supposed to be laid out. So it's usually somewhere on the top of your radiator support up here. That's for the 90 Chevy pickup, all the way up to 98 should be similar. Always take the old belt, lay the new belt over it, and check for overall lengths to be the same. So stretch it out. Once you stretch it out, they should measure equally. If they don't, then go back and make sure you got the right belt. And then while you're at it, spin your idler and move it back and forth, make sure there's no play. And then this lower idler, make sure it's good. Your alternator, make sure that's good. The brushes may have dust and create a squeaking noise. Check your power steering pump, make sure that's all good. Just go all the way through while you have it free spinning before you install the new belt. So let's get the new belt installed in. So ideally what you want to do is start with the lowest pulley, which is that one, work your way up and go back through, start with the lowest one over here, and then you either let this one or this one be the last one to go on, and then your tensioner. I usually keep this one and this one as the last, or you could do these two as your last ones, it's up to you. But it's a lot easier to do this one since there's a lot more area for you to push the belt down. So if you have a squeak in your engine or something, it may be the belt, and that's another indication to change out the belt. Or if you have cracks in the belt itself where the grooves are, that's another reason why you want to change your belt. Also, when taking this apart, you want to put it back the same way you took it apart, so make sure that before you take it apart, you look at the way it's looped through, and then you take it apart and then put the other one back together the same way. Make sure it's all lined up so that way it tracks straight before you start it, and then give it a start and make sure everything's good before you take off. If this was a helpful video for you, give it a thumbs up. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe.